In a small town living rough, times were hard and life was tough. On the porch we'd find our peace, talking about the land of the free. Stars and stripes in the sky, blue and red lines standing high. But beneath the freedom's call lies the story of us all. A conversation with the Mutts, just a whisper in our thoughts, talking about the dreams we chase in this vast American space. The roads we walk, they're cracked and dry, still we look up at the sky with hope that never dies and tears that fill our eyes. Thunderstorms and desert plains, echoes of our joys and pains. From the heartland to the coast, it's the simple things we toast. A conversation with the Mutts, just a whisper in our thoughts, talking about the dreams we chase in this vast American space. The roads we walk, they're cracked and dry, still we look up at the sky with hope that never dies and tears that fill our eyes. We're fast American space.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a conversation with the Mutts. I know it's been a while, but I am your host, the Celtic Mutt. Mrs. Mutt will be down in the chat momentarily. Unfortunately, she has also captured the cold. I gave her the cold, let's be honest. I gave her the cold that she has, and her voice is just not up to par. So she will be in the chat, but not joining us for the conversation itself. You all will be able to talk to her in the chat. Hello, Eric. How are you? Captain Starlink, how are you? Tonight's topic, we are going to be discussing, as is the header for the show that was in the thumbnail, superstitions. I will start out by giving you all the Oxford Dictionary of Language definition of what a superstition is, and then we will go into a little more of the history of where some of these superstitions have come from. A superstition is actually a widely held but unjustified belief in supernatural causation leading to certain consequences of an action or event or a practice based on such belief. That is the definition by Oxford itself. No worries, Eric. We'll be here. I lost my train of thought there for a second. I'm a little out of practice, ladies and gentlemen, to be quite honest with you. I'm actually jumping back and forth between my notes and the screen. So if I don't notice you right away, please forgive me. That's why Mrs. Mutt will be down in the chat momentarily, so that no one feels like they're going to be left out. And this still allows her to be a part of the show as well. So she is taking care of something at the moment, but she will be joining us very, very shortly. The majority of the superstitions that I found were superstitions from the Shenandoah Valley. Most of the following beliefs were brought over from England, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland. A large number of those settlers found themselves in the Shenandoah Valley region of Virginia and Appalachia, as well as the Great Smoky Mountains. In part, many of them found that the mountains reminded them of their homeland, so that's why they settled there. Why they settled there? Excuse me. Um, Please bear with me tonight, folks. In certain parts of Appalachia, it is believed that putting a mirror on your front porch will prevent the devil from entering your home. Now you say, why is that? Well, once I've heard the reasoning, it kind of made sense. The reason being is because the devil is so full of vanity that he will spend the entire night admiring himself in the mirror and be gone by morning. Kind of makes sense to me. Um, it is also common to find a broom on a front porch in Appalachia so that you can sweep away any evil spirits. I did not know this next one. It is bad luck to lay a hat on a bed. I had heard that, but I didn't understand why until I actually did the research. I've heard that all my life. My daddy, having wanted to be a cowboy and almost being a cowboy, had always told me you never put your cowboy hat on a bed. You just don't do it. This belief was likely fueled from the static electricity that would discharge in the air when taking a hat off in a warm, dry environment. So goes the superstition, don't lay your hat where you're going to lay your head, because evil spirits will spill out from your hat. So that's why you don't put your hat on the bed. Like I said, I've heard that all my life, never quite understood why. Now, I know a lot of you all have probably heard the whole, if your nose is itching, you're getting company. I know I've grown up hearing about it, and I finally found out some facts about it. An itching nose means a visitor is coming. You may receive an unexpected visitor. Now, in many cultures, this is actually true in many cultures, an itchy nose predicts a human or spiritual guide is about to visit you. This visitor could be little more, wait a minute, this could be a coworker, old friend, or stranger. So you may want to put a little more effort into your appearance the next time you step outside. You never know when you might run into someone that you know, or the person that is the reason that your nose is itching. Now, see, all this time, I always thought it was because of the pollen and my allergies to pollen and fall allergies to like dead leaves and things. I didn't realize it meant that I was going to get a visitor. Like my nose is itching right now, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get one. It just means I'm itching from this cold. Uh, if your nose itches on the left side, it means you'll receive a male visitor. So ladies, if your nose starts itching on the left side and you're single, be prepared. If you're married, you might want to explain to your husband why some strange guy came to the door. I'm just saying. That could be wrong about that, but hey. Itchiness on the right side of your nose signals a female visitor. So fellas, same thing. You may want to get spruced up if your nose starts itching on the right side. But if you're married, you might want to. I personally don't want to have to explain to Mrs. Mutt why my nose started itching on the right side. Nah, I'm not trying to do all that. That's just more trouble than it's worth, if you ask me, ladies and gents. Now, for those of you who don't know, this next superstition is definitely geared towards Virginia. Our state bird is the cardinal. And so I found this one kind of interesting, considering that the cardinal is our state bird, as I just said. A cardinal bumping against the window pane is an indication of an early death. Yeah, I would say so. Probably the birds. I mean, if he's flying full force into that window pane, he's probably going to break his neck. I mean, that's kind of silly, logical, but kind of a silly way to go about getting to that logical point. The symbolism of a red bird flying into a window or dying can vary based on culture, beliefs, and personal introspections. Here are a few perspectives. One, a symbol of transition. In many cultures, birds are seen as symbols of the soul or spirits. A red bird could represent love, passion, or vitality. Its sudden death may symbolize a transition or a warning about unforeseen changes in life. 2. Bad omens. In some traditions, a bird dying in such a manner is considered an omen. It could signify bad luck. Now, personally, I don't believe in luck. I don't believe that we make our own luck. I believe that life is the way God intended it. But and you do put out what you do get back what you reap. The reaping and sowing. There is some truth to that, but that has nothing to do with luck. I just don't believe in luck. But for those of you who do, it could be a forewarning of negative events on the horizon. Number 3, personal reflection. For some, this event might invoke personal feelings or memories leading to introspections based on individual experiences. It could prompt reflection on loss, change, or the fragility of life. 4. The environmental factors. From a scientific perspective, birds often collide with windows due to reflection. They think they're attacking another bird and fly right into the window and realize a little too late that they're attacking themselves. Reflective surfaces, excuse me. This this incident could highlight issues related to wildlife and urban environments, prompting thoughts about conservation and habitat protection. Okay. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit different topic. We've talked about the redbird. Now, I know some of you have probably heard this next one about the apple peel and throwing it over your shoulder, and the way it lands, whatever letter it forms, is the letter of if you're single, the letter of the first letter of the person you're going to marry. That's what I'm trying to say. I got a little tongue-tied there. I apologize. Peel an apple all in one piece and throw the peel over your shoulder. When you turn around and look at it lying on the ground, whatever letter it reminds you of will be the first letter of your future husband's or wife's last name. This was a trick adults would sometimes use to get kids to help peel a large group of apples. It's bad luck to point. Now, this is a completely different one. It's bad luck to point at a rainbow. I suspect we're all guilty of this one. Who knew? I didn't know it was bad luck. What are you going to do? You're going to point out where the pot of gold is at the end of it that the leprechauns put, and so they're going to quote unquote jinx you if you believe in that, which I don't. I mean, go figure. It doesn't really tell me why it's bad luck. It just says that pointing at a rainbow is bad luck. I'm just trying to make 2 and 2 make sense. And I'm not going to use Common Core math to do it. It's bad luck to bring. Okay, now some of these just crack me up. Did you know? Did you know that it's bad luck to bring a shovel into the house because it is a grave tool? Some also think a hoe in the house bores no good. Well, especially if the guy's married. No, you bring a hoe in the house, there's gonna be a fight between the wife and the hoe. I'm just saying. Call me crazy, but I'm seeing a cat fight between the wife and the hoe. And then probably after the wife beats down the hoe and throws her out, the husband and the wife are gonna fight it out. So there's gonna be 2 fights that night. So don't don't bring the hoe home. Don't bring the hoe home. Don't do it. I'm just saying. Now I've heard about this one all my life as well. I just never understood why. If you enter a house and leave it without sitting down, it is bad luck. Particularly if you leave by a different door than the one you entered. I wonder why that is. Again, some of these I looked and looked for the answers and never got a clear answer as to why that it was bad luck. If a baby smiles in its sleep, the child is talking to an angel, or so the belief goes. So the next time you see a baby smiling in its sleep, you got to wonder, is it talking to Michael, Gabriel, Samael? Which of the angels is it talking to? And what kind of conversation are they having? Rain isn't far behind when a tree shows the underside of its leaves. Now, I have heard that one before as well. And I've actually seen where it's done that. And so I'm thinking there is something in the climate that causes the leaves to do that. And then the rain, but I don't know. I'm not super well versed on that. Count the number of foggy mornings in August, and that is how many winter snows there will be over the course of the winter. Oh, Mrs. Mutt has just re-entered, and she will be on the live very, very soon.
In the chat.
In the chat. That's what I've told them in the chat. Like I said, she does have a little bit of a voice, just not a lot. It's okay. She has a thing about stepping on my feet even during a live. I don't know. Go figure. A new moon with the points up means dry weather. And a moon with the points down means rain will soon fall. Now, somebody in the chat, if you can explain to me, the moon is round. It doesn't have points. Can somebody in the chat explain to me what they mean by that? Because some of these I looked for the reasonings behind them, and I never could find the reasons. But the moon's round. It doesn't have points. It's a circle. It's actually a ball. But it just no. It says a new moon with the points up means dry weather. And a moon with the points down means rain will soon fall.
But a new moon is a crescent.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. Mrs. Mutt says it's because the new moon is a crescent moon. So, yeah, it would have a point at the top end. Okay. All right. I get it now. I'm thinking full moon, and I didn't even think about the crescent moon. That makes sense. Excuse me. On Ash Wednesday, people made pancakes or the chickens wouldn't lay. So does that mean that the chickens are on strike because on Ash Wednesday they didn't get their morning pancakes? What if they got waffles? Me personally, I'm a French toast guy. Waffles second. Don't even like pancakes, generally speaking.
Chickens in France want French toast.
Do what?
Do the chickens in France want French toast?
That's what I'm wondering. That is good. Mrs. Mutt brought up a good question. Now, are these French chickens that want French toast? It's possible. That is very possible.
What happens if you feed a French chicken waffles? Do they get offended?
I don't know. And then she's bringing up another good point. If I feed a French chicken waffles, is she going to get offended? Is it going to get offended? I don't know. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why the chickens aren't going to lay on an Ash Wednesday if they don't get pancakes. I'm just saying, it's a little weird to me, but hey. Okay. Before taking a new baby as opposed to an old baby, I mean, hello, I'm an old baby. I'm 55. I'm or about to be 55. I would be an old baby. Excuse me. Before taking a new baby out for its first ride, this probably applied to a wagon or a buggy. The herb lady rubbed warm bear grease on one of the infant's palms and the bottom of the opposite foot. This ensuring that the baby was protected from the rigors of the journey. So wait a minute. So if you put bear,
Right hand.
I got it. You know, if I put it on the right hand and the left foot, it's bear grease. Now, obviously, this wasn't lucky for the bear because the bear had to die to make the grease. But how is this going to protect the baby? I mean, again, I'm going to need somebody in the chat to answer this for me. Does bear grease have a potentially pungent odor so everything stays away from it? And that's why? What is it about the bear grease that makes sure that the baby is safe from these rigors of the journey? These are questions I need answers to, people. I need you all to help me out here. I'm just saying. I know all of you heard this one. Step on a crack and break your mama's back. Well, hold on a second. Sorry about that. This superstition originates actually not in England, Ireland, Wales, or Scotland, but in Africa. And it was brought over into European folklore. It is believed that cracks in the earth, whether it be a sidewalk crack or an asphalt crack, or anywhere on the ground for that matter, were portals to the supernatural realms. So wait a minute. Okay, so step on a crack and break your mama's back. Is she going to break her back from the fall through there through the supernatural portal, and it's going to be that hard landing at the end? What breaks her back? Now, step on a crack and your mama falls through a portal. Yeah, it doesn't rhyme, but it makes more sense in that particular case. I'm just saying,
Maybe it's the folding through.
Maybe, Mrs. Mutt says maybe it's the fact that that your mama folds it, folds it in half when she has to fold it in half to slide through the crack. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yes, I am. I'm not even going to lie. I'm intentionally making light of some of these because some of these just don't make no kind of sense to me. No way. I just think some of them are silly. I think a lot of superstitions are silly, but anyway, these are fun. Now, this one I kind of understood. Throwing salt over your shoulder. Wasting salt was considered almost sacrilegious. As such, if you spilled salt, you threw some of the spilled salt over your left shoulder to ward off the devil. For whatever reason, in those times, the right hand side was considered good and the left associated with evil. That is scriptural. I looked that up. There are a couple of scriptures in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 10:22, for example, the heart of the wise inclines to the right, but the heart of a fool to the left. So it does, yeah. That's where some of that comes from, I think. Remember what Jesus said: goats on the left, sheep on the right, and that's Matthew 25:33. So there is some reasonable belief that is scriptural. It's also said that because Judas betrayed Jesus, people began associating salt with lies and disloyalty. Throwing salt over the left shoulder blinds the devil who was waiting there to force you into bad behavior.
Your right and left thing?
Yes.
That explains conservatism
Yes.
on the right.
Yes, it does explain conservatism on the right and liberalism on the left. Very much so. Yes, you are correct. Again, Mrs. Mutt is trying to put in commentary here. So I will be relaying some of the messages. She's almost at a whisper, and I don't want her to strain her voice. But yes, she is correct. That is where a lot of that comes from. Did you know that it is supposedly bad luck to point at a rainbow? We talked about this a minute ago. For over a century, anthropologists and folklorists have sporadically recorded a belief that one should not point at a rainbow lest the offending finger become permanently bent, not to be supernaturally severed, or if not supernaturally severed, or fall off completely. Even the Navajo believe it is bad luck in their culture to point at a rainbow. I thought it was kind of odd that they specified the Navajo, but I'm sure there are other tribes that believed it as well. But the article that I read stated that it was specifically the Navajo. So I'm going by what they were saying. Why should you go out the same door you came in? An old Irish tradition says you should always exit through the same door you entered, or else you'll have bad luck. But don't worry, after the first time, you can use the door that's most convenient. So just the initial visit, you got to go out the same way you came in. After that, you can go out any door you want.
It's also my understanding that it's one thing if you come in and go straight through.
Yeah, if you come in and go straight through, that's also bad luck for some reason. Maybe it's because they see it as bad form or bad manners.
My great grandparents.
Your great grandparents, yes.
Think had what's called a shotgun house.
They had a shotgun. Yeah, her great grandparents had a shotgun house, which literally it was the front door lines up with the back door. It's literally a straight shot.
And because I remember seeing a picture of them sitting on the front porch, and you could see the back door.
You can see the back door, yeah. So I think that might, again, I think it's just a matter of bad form.
It's if you stopped to do something. If you went in the front door and then say you washed your hands in the kitchen, then you could go out the back door.
Yeah, as long as you stopped and did something, yeah. Again, it would be bad. Again, it goes, like I said, it goes back to walking in through the front door and literally walking right out the back door. If you stopped and, like you said, wash your hands or do something, then you can go out the back door. But I think it's just a matter of bad manners. Excuse me one second, folks. This next section is Kentucky superstitions. Again, because some of these were from the Smoky Mountains, which is where you'll find Kentucky has the Smoky Mountains, is what I'm trying to say. The full moon and planting. Okay. Many Kentuckians still follow the tradition of planting crops according to the phases of the moon. Excuse me. It's thought that the full moon encourages the growth of leafy vegetables, while the new moon is better for root vegetables like potatoes. Whistling inside. The whistling inside superstition. Whistling indoors, particularly at night, is said to invite bad luck, and in some stories attracts evil spirits and bad omens. Some people believe it may also cause financial misfortune. I can't say that I've never whistled in the house. The ex-wife, however, hated me to whistle at all. She hated it every time I whistled. I used to love to whistle. It's a family thing. I can remember I had an uncle or great uncle who would whistle all the time. So it's definitely a family thing. I think I love to whistle, or used to love to whistle. Um, okay, for those of you who go to Kentucky who aren't from there, please take heed to this next one. Do not bring an old broom into a new home. A popular Kentucky superstition advises against bringing an old broom into a new home. It's thought to bring bad energy or bad luck into a new house. When moving into a new home, it's considered better to buy a new broom and sweep away the negative energy. So there you go, folks. Remember, if you ever go to Kentucky and you're visiting family that has just moved into their home, do not bring your old broom. Stop at, one of these hardware stores and pick you up a new one and take it if that's what you're intended to give as a housewarming gift. Um, Horseshoes for good luck. Makes sense considering that the Kentucky Derby is in Kentucky and a large portion of Kentucky is horse country. So I can see where this might go. Give me just a minute, folks. Okay. Like I said, horseshoe for good luck. Hanging a horseshoe above the door. Hanging a horseshoe above the door with the open end facing upward is a common superstition in Kentucky, not just Kentucky, but in other parts of the country as well now, and across many rural areas in the U.S. This is believed to bring good luck and ward off evil spirits, with some people even placing a coin inside the horseshoe for added fortune. How are they putting the coin in the horseshoe? Are they putting it in one of the nail holes?
No.
But then the nail holes aren't big enough to hold a coin, so how are they? I mean, I know what a horseshoe. I played horseshoes, so.
A horseshoe it's not flat against the wall.
No, I guess they would tuck it behind the horseshoe.
You would sit it in the bottom of the horseshoe.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess you would put it. Yeah. Turning a coat inside out. Again, these are Kentucky superstitions, ladies and gentlemen. And oddly enough, I've heard of some of these a good portion of my life. I do have family in Kentucky, so some of these are not as strange to me as they might be to you. If you're feeling particularly unlucky, some Kentuckians suggest that you turn your coat inside out. It will help change your fortunes. It's seen as a way to reverse bad luck. Again, with the bad luck. Again, I don't believe in luck, but hey, if that's your thing, take notes. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th and the Kentucky Derby. Dun, dun, dun. The Kentucky Derby, one of the most famous horse races in the world, is often held on the first Saturday in May. Some Kentucky locals believe that Friday the 13th, when it falls close to the Derby, can bring additional bad luck to bets and racing outcomes. There are stories of unlucky races or tragic accidents associated with this superstition. I never knew that. I did not know that. Hmm. I'll have to contact some of my family to see what they can tell me. I should have done that prior to the show, but just wow. Okay. The sound of a train whistle. In certain areas of Kentucky, hearing a train whistle at night is said to bring forewarnings of impending death or misfortune. This belief ties into the historical association of trains with dangerous travel in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Okay. I can see where putting the train tracks in would be dangerous. Maybe I can see early train travel being dangerous. Uh, trying a tying a string around your finger. So, what are they going to say about that? I would say it would turn your finger purple if you tied it too tight.
That's supposed to help you remember things.
It's also supposed to help. Yes, I know. Tying a piece of string around your finger is said to help prevent forgetfulness. However, in Kentucky folklore, it is also tied, haha, to the superstition that if you tie a string too tightly, it will bring trouble or bad luck. Of course it will. It'll cut off the circulation to your finger, and the tip of your finger will fall off. Hello, it's kind of like the whole bird thing. Yeah, of course it's bad luck for the bird. The bird flew into the window and died. I know. I'm just too logical. I get it. But anyway, I'm hoping that some of you are actually laughing at this when I make a crack like that, because that's what it's meant for. Okay, this next section was going to be brought to you, I think, in part probably by Mrs. Mutt. She is here. She will either confirm or deny or tell me she doesn't know. But this is Iowan superstitions. Thunder on a Sunday. Some rural Iowans believe that if thunder strikes on a Sunday, it is an omen of a disaster, especially regarding family or community events. This is rooted in old folk beliefs that bad weather on a holy day signals divine disapproval. No, first of all, thunder doesn't strike anything. Thunder is noise. It's the lightning that you got to worry about. I'm just saying that. I know. I'm being too logical. Stop it, Mutt. But yeah, I can see where it would be would put a damper on things if lightning struck your event. Laying the corn in a cross pattern for protection. During planting season, some Iowa farmers would lay their corn in a cross pattern in the soil to mark their fields with a cross for protection against pests, disease, or poor crop yield. This superstition blends agricultural practices with a sense of spiritual safeguarding.
I can see them doing that.
Mrs. Mutt says she can see them doing that, and she would know better than I.
I've not witnessed it, but I can see that happening.
She says she's not witnessed it herself, but she could see them doing it. The Iowa rain dance. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
She's never heard of the Iowa rain dance, but we're going to talk about it right now. The Iowa rain dance. There's an old belief among some farming families in Iowa that performing a certain dance or rain dance will bring much needed rain for crops. While this is more playful superstition, it ties into the state's heavy reliance on farming and its farmers' deep connection to the land and weather patterns. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that in just about anywhere that has agriculture. Even parts of Virginia, I can see them doing that here too. Excuse me. Don't turn a picture upside down during a storm. But it's okay to turn it upside down on a sunny day. I'm curious. This superstition claims that turning a picture upside down during a thunderstorm or lightning strike will prevent the storm from causing harm or damage to the home. It is thought to confuse or ward off the spirits associated with storms. Wait a minute. Wait, so you would want to, why would they tell me don't do it when they think that doing it, that doesn't make sense. It says, let me read that again. Literally, the title is Don't Turn the Picture Upside Down in a Storm, okay? So we're going to read this again, and somebody in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong and tell me whether it makes sense to you or not. This superstition claims that turning a picture upside down during a thunderstorm or lightning strike will prevent the storm from causing harm or damage to the home. It is thought to confuse or ward off spirits associated with storms. Wouldn't you want if that's actually what happens?
Yeah, that's somebody screwed up when they wrote that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, somebody screwed up somewhere. And no, it wasn't Mutt, because I'll tell you right now, that came from. Hold on, let me get you the. Let me get you the source of information for that was AmericanSuperstitions.com. I believe that's the one that I'm quoting now is AmericanSuperstitions.com. So yeah, as one of the main sources. A full moon on harvest time brings bumper crops. Again, another Iowa superstition. Some Iowa farmers believe that if there is a full moon near the harvest season, it will lead to a bumper crop. The idea is that the extra light from the full moon will help crops ripen and improve the overall harvest yield. I can't see that there'd be enough light from the moon to, but okay, I'll go with it. I'm down. Dreaming of water means rain or flood. Excuse me, I started to say food. In Iowa, it is common belief that if you dream of water, it's a sign that rain or a flood is coming. People who have this dream, especially farmers, may interpret it as a signal to prepare for a change in the weather patterns. Oh, yeah, I could think if you're having a sunny day and you dream of it raining and then the next day it rains, that could probably be the case. That was the last one that I had, folks, to be honest. I'm going to now jump over here. I have not been paying attention to the chat, but I know Mrs. Mutt has been in the chat. But McGregor is here. Good. I'm glad to see that McGregor made it. Yeah, don't forget the push broom for the garage. Exactly. But yeah, those are just some of the superstitions that I came across while I was uh, doing the research for this. Um, Again, Mrs. Mutt had some others, but unfortunately, with her voice being what it is, we weren't able to share that. We may pick this back up again at another time. However, we are going to, because of the holiday, unless I get word from enough people, we're thinking that because the next 2 weeks are holidays, uh, Christmas being next Wednesday and New Year's being the Wednesday after that, uh, a lot of people aren't going to be on. So we were going to take the next 2 weeks off, even though we've had to, because of health reasons, take off the previous couple of weeks, which has got our schedule all messed up. But we will be covering on our next show, and I'm kind of looking forward to this, the official desserts of each of the 50 states and what desserts go with what state. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think that one was kind of cool. Mrs. Mutt and I were having a conversation, I believe it was last week, about it, and we started looking up stuff about it just randomly. And she was like, "This would make a really kind of a cool topic for um, a show." And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I think it would." So I'm kind of, I think it would be kind of interesting to hear. Uh, and a lot of them are not what you might think. I will tell you that right now. There are a number of states that would be associated with certain things that are not what they are. I'll give you an example, and this is just one. When I think of New England, or specifically New Hampshire, because I lived there, I think of apple crisps. That is, everybody talks about in the wintertime or early fall, they talk about apple crisps. Apple crisp is not the official dessert of New England. I'm just saying. I'm not going to tell you what it is now. You'll have to come and catch the show to find out. But it is not an apple crisp. You'll be surprised as to what it is, though. Um, I know what Virginia's is, and Virginia's does kind of make sense. I'm not going to lie. Um, I don't believe that the one for Iowa I had ever even heard of. I don't think. I'm trying to remember what it was off the top of my head, but if memory serves correctly, I don't think I'd ever actually heard of that one. Your home state?
Mine?
Yes.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
It wasn't one that made sense to me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it didn't even make sense to Mrs. Mutt. It wasn't one she grew up with specifically, so it kind of threw everybody off.
Wisconsin made sense.
Wisconsin. Yeah, if I remember right, Wisconsin did make sense, but Iowa did not. Virginia's made sense, um, and I believe Kentucky's made sense as well. And again, we mentioned those states specifically because we have ties and family in those states. So those are always kind of the first states we go to, but we do try to cover all the states. And in this particular case, we will be covering all 50 states. We will give you the official dessert of each individual state. So join us in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
Yes, next Wednesday's Christmas.
Yeah, because next Wednesday is Christmas and the following week is New Year's. To find out what your home state's dessert actually officially is. Um, until then, though, folks, I want you to take care of yourselves and each other if you get the opportunity. We have missed you all terribly. We're sorry that we have not been able to make it more frequently than we have, but I had to have a medical procedure last week and just was not up for the show. Actually, that was Friday. But something happened on Wednesday, and I wasn't up for the show. And the previous week, Mrs. Mutt had to have something done, and she wasn't up for the show. So we are very sorry that we have missed you all. But please know that you have been missed. And I will say that Mac down there, who is loyal to the core and shows up for every show, I have been seriously concerned about you. We need to find a way to get in touch with each other than on here. And there may be a couple of other things coming down the pike. I'm reaching out to other platforms, and I may have something in the works for you all very soon. Keep your fingers crossed. But we'll see about that. But until the next time that we're able to be together, please take care of yourselves and each other. And as Mrs. Mutt is very fond of saying at the end of every show, have fun storming the castle. Take care, guys, and we'll catch you again real soon. Bye. There we go.